Good morning and welcome to Yard Prep, the pregame show here, part of the Extra Yard. I am Kai Chen Chisholm. Joining me, as always, is Michael Christian and Juan Cardona. And joining today is the Godfather himself from 3 yards per carry, Alfredo Arteaga. Quick friendly reminder that we are sponsored by ThriveFantasy. You can find a link to that in the description down below and compete in a wide range of contests. And you'll be able to see all of those down below when you sign up. And you can use our code 5FINS for an instant match up to $100 on your first deposit. I want to start with you, Alf. Just really quickly, how's your morning been? How have you had your preparations getting ready for today's game?
It's been great. I made salsa. I watched ESPN slather and slobber all over Mac Jones again. And I also, I dug deep into those highlight packages, and they showed that one touchdown pass to Nelson Aguilar, 6 different angles. So if you watch it and you don't know anything about it, you thought he threw for like 460 and like 5 touchdowns against Miami. I think it's brilliant editing by ESPN.
Juan?
I love it. I fucking love it. I don't watch ESPN anymore. I do not support them or anything they do. But hey, I love the Mac Jones love.
I was gonna say, how can you not like ESPN if they love your boy?
San Francisco should have took him at 3, but that's neither here nor there. But nah, I mean, yeah, for sure. ESPN loves that stir in the pot, and right now Mac Jones is hot, and
go Jets.
See. Yeah, because the thing is this week is very crucial for a couple swings because the whole AFC East is playing.
Yeah, and it's also crucial for the Mac Jones love because if Zach Wilson rips apart the New England Patriots, then it's over. Like all that hype is over. But if Mac Jones goes off against the Jets, we gotta grin and bear it for another week.
I mean, I also don't know how excited I'd be if Zach Wilson rips up the Patriots defense after what we did. That would be a bit disheartening. I'm not gonna lie.
I'd be super excited. I can't lie about that. Just to watch the Patriots fans kind of go through another week of turmoil, I'd be very, very happy.
Too much. I want a tie. That's what I want. I want a
tie. That would be the best of both
time.
worlds.
Yeah,
tie is good.
I think tie.
Mike, how's your morning been as we get ready to get into this?
Not great. The Gators only lost by 2 yesterday, so
damn.
I gotta
better
show
than
them
the
some
Caves,
respect.
baby.
I gotta show them some respect.
That was a great play call on that 2-point conversion. Great play call.
Yeah.
Inside zone and then not pull the ball out until it's
if he pulled the ball out
of humanity,
he would have made it, bro.
You think he makes it?
Oh, for sure. If he pulls the ball out, he either one of them makes it. If he just makes a quick decision, one of them makes it.
I'll take your word for it. Great game though. Gators,
I just think we live in a really interesting world where it's exciting for your team to only lose to another team by 2-3 points in college football. Like it's over, right? The season's over. We all know that. We all know who's going to make the championship, barring some wild, horribly terrible performance for Alabama, which nobody sees coming. That's why for me, until Nick Saban retires, college football's boring. Boring.
Well, the Gators, I'm proud of what happened yesterday, but want to get into kind of our first kind of topic here today with the show. So the first thing I want to get into, and we'll get into inactives whenever that comes out, and we'll get into everything else. I kind of want to see, last week we got to finally see, we finally got to see everything in action. We got to see who was getting hyped up, who wasn't getting hyped up, what was going to be what. And I want to go, I guess, in reverse order here with you, Mike. What is one player that you look at on this team that maybe either didn't break out yesterday or last week, or just in general you want to see have that breakout game today against the Bills?
I think there's a lot of different options. You wrote yours down on the rundown, so I could definitely just snipe it and go with that one. But no, I'm actually going to go with Albert Wilson. I want to see Albert Wilson have a bit more of an impact. I know that Jalen Waddle is obviously the focal point for the offense. Devontae Parker is your number one. We know that we don't have the other wide receiver that we really want to see out there. I think Albert Wilson did have a good camp, right? He had a good time. Alfredo can definitely attest to this more than I can, but I think he's a very good weapon on this team. I think the speed can be utilized, especially because Levi Wallace is the corner that's going to be most picked on, so probably if he's on Albert Wilson, go to Albert Wilson all day. So I think that would be a good thing for him. So I want to see Albert Wilson have a great game, especially because we know how this wide receiver core goes. Somebody eventually is going to go down with an injury or miss some time, whatever it is. I think Albert Wilson will be a great piece. If he can step up, it'll make this wide receiver core, in my opinion, pretty unstoppable.
Juan?
That was a good one, Michael. I like that one. I think I like mine's better though. I'm gonna go with Salvon Ahmed. I think if any of the running backs can
not Gaskin.
Yeah, the thing is that
Gaskins.
Yeah, Gaskins. I don't see. There's times where like you just see more explosiveness from Salvon than Miles, and you see it sometimes where you actually do get good blocking and it's like not taken advantage of. So maybe you start to give some more opportunities to Salvon, and that one pass that Tua could have probably thrown it a little better. He beat his man like wholeheartedly beat him like badly. So I would like to see him pop off a couple ones, maybe a 40-50 yarder, and then now we're cooking.
Sorry, can I ask Alfredo something on this real quick? To me, between Savon and Gaskin, I feel like Savon is the more explosive running back. When he has the ball in his hands, I'm more excited to see him with it than Gaskin. I feel like the playing time discrepancy might come down to the fact that, in my opinion, Savon is atrocious when it comes to pass blocking. Gaskin isn't great either, but I think he's better than Savon. Is that really the difference between those two when it comes to playing time, or is there something about Gaskin that's holding him up as the number one right now?
I think you just said it, and it's also whatever the coaches see, they've decided that Myles Gaskin is the guy, and Savon Ahmed, if you think about it, he has his style is more like high octane, high usage, very very physical in the sense that his game is all speed, while Gaskin tries to use some vision and some power inside. So Savon Ahmed is a guy that you probably won't see out there for 60 snaps because he probably can't do it. It's as simple as that, because he can't play at 100% for 60 snaps.
But hey, turn me up with that Saquon Barkley talk. You can go with your guy now. I wanted to throw that in there because I'm the running back guy in the group. So Saquon, listen all day.
Yeah, against the Bills, every game plan has to feature one thing. If you're defending against Josh Allen, you're going to have one guy, usually from the blind side, rushing wide almost on every single play, because Josh Allen, it's in the scouting report, he drops his shoulders and he likes to escape left for whatever reason. He's right-handed, but he escapes left. So you got to have somebody rushing wide. Who rushed wide against Mac Jones in week 1? Jalen Phillips. If they decide to block Jalen Phillips one-on-one in this game, he could have a big game against the Buffalo Bills. I'm talking about 2-3 sacks, 4 or 5 quarterback hits.
Ooh, so Chandler Jones light.
He's a guy that I would watch today, and if he has a big day, Dolphins win, I think.
Can you expand? I know that you put out, or I think it was House that put out a video of all the snaps that he had against the Patriots, and you kind of made your comments under it about how he was getting double teamed for most of those plays and how they were really focusing on him. And I think a lot of the talk beforehand was Bill talking about how much he respected him as a player, and then of course you get the double teams and everything like that. Can you kind of go into that a little bit just as we get into it? Because I guess a lot of people will look at that and say that it wasn't a great game and yada yada yada, but now it's kind of like saying like, well, he actually did more than what people actually thought that he did do.
Yeah, Bill Belichick wasn't lying. He did a chalk talk talking about how good a player Jalen Phillips is, and he showed a couple examples from the Cincinnati Bengals game, the last preseason game. He wasn't lying. Like, he doubled him. He doubled him every time. They sniffed out when he was going to rush wide, and they tried to get a double on him almost every single time. Every time he got doubled, every time that he crashed in and took the tackle with him and allowed a linebacker to rush free, every time that he was one-on-one on a wide 9 rush or a 7-tech rush, and he got a pressure, all of those are wins. And if you look at his snaps, all I see is win after win after win. He did his job, and he was good setting the edge as well. So he did his job. He's the victim of not putting up a shiny, 1.5 sack number.
Right.
If he had 1.5 sacks against the Patriots, everybody would be talking about, whoa, they found something in Jalen Phillips.
And they did.
But all we see is that one play where he gets bullied straight to the floor.
Yeah, but
that happens to everybody. That's the welcome to the NFL moment.
Literally,
he thought that he was working one-on-one with a tackle, and he was hand fighting, and Shaq Mason had nothing to do. And Shaq Mason looked over and said, "Oh, there's that rookie."
I'm not gonna lie though. That's the kind of play that I want to see the Dolphins make more. Right? I want to see Solomon Kinley or Robert Hunt find a one-on-one on a Jesse Davis or Austin Jackson and just like smack him.
Hey, they get to do it against Greg Rousseau today.
Oh, I'm scared.
So speaking of I guess just the roster and players that we want to see break out, we have our official inactive list coming out from the Miami Dolphins, and it reads like this: Will Fuller, of course, and if we want to touch on that, we will. Trill Williams, two of your guys, Juan, Trill Williams and Noah Igbinoghene, and then Elijah Campbell, Greg
Juan's
Little, and
guys are so all over the place because Juan has Trill Williams and Noah Igbinoghene. He also got Mac Jones. He's got
I'm a diverse type of person.
like-
I'm a diverse type of person. What can we say? Like,
Noah Igbinoghene was
taste.
so bad last week in week 2 that they made him inactive for this week.
So what do we make of this? Does anyone have? I mean, like,
I'm
obviously
interested in the
Will
Hunter
Fuller
Long
stuff,
one
but-
because last week we didn't. Did we sit a tight end last week? Well, Shaheen, right?
Yeah, so Shaheen's just taking his place.
So Shaheen.
I think the Hunter Long one points to Ethan Carter. Ethan Carter had a perfect game last week. He hit every single one of his blocks.
Yeah.
Guy's a good blocker. And I guess they decide, you know what? We have Gesicki, we have Shaheen. That's enough as far as a pass catcher, pass catching tight end for this game. We need more blocking. We're not going to sit Ethan Carter because he was good. So sit the rookie in favor of Shaheen. So
it's a hell of an inactive list, though. That's a first rounder, a third round pick, and then your star wide receiver.
Well, and you know what? Hey, listen, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know if I'd go as far as the star wide receiver.
I mean,
yeah, I would.
I wouldn't.
Well, he hasn't played yet.
Yeah.
So
I mean, look, Alfredo said it. Alfredo said it on 3 yards per carry. The most he's seen is him doing the Tour de France. I mean, that's
on the bike.
So adding this, and I guess the biggest alpha, and if you want to even comment to it at all, I guess a lot of the talk has been about Will Fuller. He's out again today. I know you've said some stuff, or there's been some stuff on OnlyFins. I don't want to expose anything. I want to keep my my solidarity and everything with that. But is there anything that you might have to say kind of on Will Fuller, or that you would want to kind of put out there just on kind of what's been happening with him?
Well, it's a personal issue. All we know is that on Wednesday he was pretty gung-ho about playing. He was all smiles and handshakes, and he practiced. It looked like he was going to start, by the way, on Wednesday. Something happened Wednesday night leading up to Thursday morning, and all of a sudden he's not playing. So it's a personal issue. There's a lot of speculation out there of what it is. I won't do that here. Leave that for somebody else to do. But evidently it's a personal issue, and I guess we'll find out more on Monday or not, because the Dolphins really won't tell us anything.
It's day by day.
Yeah. Brian Flores is going to say day by day to everything. You know what I mean?
Literally.
A meteor hit fucking the practice facility, and it burned to the ground. It's the practice facility is day by day.
Literally.
And the stadium collapsed. Well, the stadium is day by day. You know what I mean?
Wait, okay, so
Everything.
We're good with it. Okay. Bro, this guy, look. First of all, Gregory Rousseau is a much better player than I think a lot of people gave him credit for coming out of the draft.
Yeah, he beat up Penei Sewell.
He beat up Penei Sewell real good. He's going up against Jesse Davis, right?
Now Penei does look a lot better at left tackle. I will say that.
No, but he's going up against Jesse Davis, right? Who everybody's down on Jesse Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
but he's gonna
pretty
get a lot of
much.
chips though. He's gonna get a lot of help.
Look, I just think the way that we as Dolphins fans are talking about Jalen Phillips possibly having a great day, I'm not putting them on the same level, but I'm saying because of the disparaging,
I'd be more
bad talent at tackle,
Hughes,
Gregory Rousseau could be looking at a sack or two, and then people are going to be like, "Oh, what are you talking about? Gregory Rousseau's not that good." Look, he gets it together, and I think he has all the tools. I think he could get after Tua.
Look, let me say something, because I think a lot of people. I don't think it's a misconception, because it's really a matter of opinion, and this is just my opinion. Since Tua Tagovailoa is a shorter guy, his field of view is always going to start from his dominant hand to his weaker hand, right? Which means if he's left-handed, it's going to start from right to left, right? So I think he sees his blind side. I think the issue is, keeping his eyesight to his left, his dominant hand, completely free. So blocking Jerry Hughes, I think, is going to be extremely important. You don't want people in Tua's face. I think he can sense the backside pressure.
Juan, you mentioned that with Jerry Hughes. Is there anything else you kind of want to talk about? I know not Alf bring it up, but you did say kind of how you'd be more scared of Jerry Hughes than Gregory Rousseau. What's
Yeah, I mean, just because overall, I feel like we might, just be talking shit about the Bills defense, but like they got some players, like they got Jerry Hughes, like he mentioned. I think they got Their linebacker number 49, I always forget his name, but he's one of the twins or brothers. And he's killer. But really, for me, it's gonna
Tremaine Edmonds.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, he's great. No,
Yeah.
and Matt Milano is one of the few linebackers that could actually stay with Gesicki.
Boston College, Matt Milano.
And then the key for the game, in my opinion, I don't know if we're gonna get to it, but it's gonna be how Micah Hyde and Poyer are gonna play. Like if they're gonna be middle of the field open, like you gotta hit Gesicki like often. Like you gotta make them pay for that. If they're gonna close it and they're gonna go one safety down and then try to stop the run, then like you also got to make them pay for that with Waddle and going, horizontal and stuff like that. So that for me is how them two safeties are going to play, is how we're going to have to be able to like beat up on them.
I'll give you a little bit of insight. I do the Rock Pile Report every single week, which is a Buffalo Bills podcast. I'm on there as like their Dolphin, correspondent. So this week we previewed the game. They're scared to death of our wide receivers going against Levi Wallace. So make them realize that.
But will they be able to target that?
Fear.
Like, do you think that they'll be able to actually kind of go out and target Levi Wallace?
You could isolate Levi Wallace by formation and by play call. So,
well, just in general, like if the offensive line breaks, do you think that the offense will actually be able to get into a rhythm enough to be able to target him?
We got to wait and see. It's really going to be up to how well the offensive line plays and how good the game plan is, and if they decide to somehow try to hide Levi Wallace or really give him a lot of help, which is probably what they have to do. Because I'm telling you, these guys were scared to death of all the wide receivers going against Levi Wallace.
But again, that was at a time when they were thinking Will Fuller was one of them too.
Maybe. Right? That's possibly it.
So I wonder if him
Preston is active.
Think they can handle it.
That's one thing as well that kind of was on it. Preston is active. So I guess you add in Preston Williams, and we all know what Preston can do when he is healthy.
Zach Moss is going to be active for the Bills too. I don't know if you want to bring up the Bills inactive list or not.
Let me get it up right now. But that does play a lot into it, right? Alf getting at least one of those receivers back in Preston Williams.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit more diversity in attack is important. If you noticed last week, there was no diversity in attack. It was just Devontae Parker and Jalen Waddle, and that was it. So this week,
because the Patriots did a great job taking away the middle of the field. I mean, they couldn't get Gesicki at all.
These are the inactives for the Bills. Anything
the important one there is Harrison Phillips. He's a badass defensive tackle, but I believe he was injured for the first week too.
So. Boogie's one of their, I think, was like a third or fourth rounder for them too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, no.
Nothing too much there.
No.
So you mentioned keys to the game, Juan, and it's perfect because that's exactly what we're going to transition to next. Is that that's going to be your key to the game, kind of like getting or targeting Mike Gesicki and trying to get him involved in the offense more than he was last week?
I don't think more so Mike Gesicki, just kind of like how you're going to respond to Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, how they're going to play. Like if they're going to go cover 2, then you have to have an answer for that. If they're going to go cover 1, then you also have to have an answer for that. So it just all depends on how they're going to kind of play it off, because they do a lot of safety blitzes. So that's the stuff you're going to have to really watch out for. And if they do blitz, like Mac Jones, like the way he responded whenever we blitz, like that's kind of how it should be. If Tua sees the blitzer coming, like it is logical to try to throw exactly where that window is, just to be mindful of maybe somebody dropping into that zone in like a fire zone situation.
Yeah, I think it's also extremely important. I talked about this on the podcast this week. If you watch especially if you watch them against the Steelers, if you watch Josh Allen play, like people are giving the Steelers were giving him 6 yards, and he was just looking at.
He didn't want it. He wanted something,
and he would hold it like, no, I don't want that. I want the 25-yard crosser, and then he would get into trouble. Hopefully, we get that Josh Allen, because that type of quarterback play is death against the Miami Dolphins.
Do you think there's a chance and that he potentially regresses? I know it's week 1 and you don't want to do week 1 overreaction, but like, do you think that there is a chance that he is kind of a little bit regressed from what we saw last year? Like maybe now that there's been a whole off season for defensive coordinators to kind of look at that one breakout season, that you did see kind of a little bit more of what Josh Allen kind of is against the Steelers rather than what he was last year? Or do you think it was week 1? We'll see what happens down the road.
Man, I hope so. I hope so, because if that's the case, then the division just opened up for us huge. And instead of talking playoffs next week, we're talking about, okay, how do we win a Super Bowl? So, and it's as simple as that. Like, Dolphins win today, on Monday, we're talking, How do you win a Super Bowl? How do you beat Kansas City? How do you beat the Cleveland Browns? Like,
yeah, that's what we'll be talking about. Everybody else will be talking about what's wrong with the Bills, but that's what we'll be talking about. For
Facts.
Sure. My thing with the Josh Allen stuff is
the games, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it has to come down to Josh Allen. I mean, everybody's talking about how he's 5-0 in his last 5 games because they don't want to bring up the one loss he had in his first game against the Dolphins for some reason, which, let's be honest, shouldn't have been a loss for him. You know,
should have been a dub. Should have been a dub.
My thing with Josh Allen is, the Steelers were giving him those 6 yards and he wasn't taking them. I hope he doesn't take it again, because the only other quarterback we've faced this season took those 6 yards in shorter passes, and he looked great doing it. Right. Add on to the fact that this is a quarterback that can run as well. I'm not going to lie to you. Josh Allen scares me. I know Josh Allen did not play great last week, but as a Dolphins fan, I don't see how we can sit here and have confidence in stopping him when it's never happened before. I think Josh Allen.
We got a good defense though, man. Like eventually it's going to be strength on strength, and
no, for sure. And I understand that, but that was strength on strength last year too.
And it is time. I think Chris Kaufman said it best on a podcast. It's time. Like, what are we waiting for?
Yeah.
Like, it's time to beat Buffalo. You got them at home. You're relatively completely healthy, really. You know, I understand Will Fuller's not playing, but, you know, it's a personal
issue. But defensively, you're healthy. Yeah.
To use a spoism, we have enough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They have enough to win this game, not go out and win it. You're playing them at home. You know, if you lose to Buffalo again, then it's time to start thinking about, okay, what are we doing wrong to match up with this team? Because let's face it, you want to win a Super Bowl, either you completely avoid the Bills, which it's weird that you plan on winning a Super Bowl by avoiding a team that's in your own division.
Yep.
Or you try to get a home playoff game. How do you get a home playoff game? You got to win your division, right?
Yeah.
So win today. You know, it's as simple as that. You've been building toward this. Now do it.
This is the time to do it. And I mean, we talked about it last week on Extra Yard too, where it was like you usually build to beat the best quarterback in your division, right? To knock down whoever's first. And for 20 years, we were building to beat Tom Brady, and that's what it was. Now we have to build to beat Josh Allen because he is the cream of the crop in the division. If at any point you want to do that, I think this is the best chance we have with the way that the Bills have been going, where they just don't seem fully in sync. The defense is as healthy as it's going to get, especially because it's early on in the season. I just think if you don't do it now, I don't have hope that it would happen again later down the line.
And you're at home and you have a hungry crowd that's going to be antsy.
First time, post everything.
You got heat, humidity hitting their sideline, not yours. Man, listen, the home field advantage is there.
Just like we had to fight that home crowd over there in New England. Like, bro, we're gonna have to fight. They're gonna have to fight it down here. They're gonna have to fight the heat. If it rains, they're gonna have to fight that. Like, you know, like.
And I mean, for most of this Dolphins team, this is their first full home game as Miami Dolphins.
Yep.
Even if you're not a rookie, right? Like Byron Jones has never played a game in a full Hard Rock Stadium, right? As a Miami Dolphins player, like none of those new additions have. And this team has turned over a lot in the last 2 years. They have to be able to use that and take advantage of it. And you got to hope that Bills Mafia doesn't show up. I mean, the 12 people that decided to escape the frigid.
And the crowd, like
Buffalo.
On one thing there too, just for that one preseason game, the crowd was rocking, and it's like, and you know, it's a preseason game and barely anyone's there in all reality. It's like if they could bring that type of, you know, pressure and noise and stuff like that into a full pack stadium with all these fans. I mean, obviously it don't matter because we know Miami fans will boo. They booed the Hurricanes yesterday. Like if it gets down to it, like they will boo and they will boo hard. But like, I don't think any of us are expecting, unless I'm wrong, and like anyone step up here, but like, I don't think any of us are expecting the Bills to do what they did in Week 17 to this team now. Like it's, I don't think that that's going to happen.
I'm not expecting that. I think if that happens, you've got a lot of questions to ask.
But you see, you say hope.
Asking them very
you say hope.
Too.
You say hope instead of like you don't think so. Like I don't think that that's going to happen. You say hope is in like there's part of you, Juan, that says like it might happen.
I mean, like, Josh Allen does have our number. Like I'm obviously betting on like, okay, finally being time. Like, all right, like, okay, like enough's enough. Like 4 times with Flores, like 5th time's the charm, I guess. Like, but like I'm playing percentages here. Like, but like
all you have to go on is hope. If you're saying, oh, that won't happen, your really only thing is hope and hoping that you can match what you did week 2 last year and not week 17.
Because like, you know, if it's tragic, whatever, I'll always hate on
week 2 last year was the Noah Ekbenogany show.
Yeah, but offensively,
also KVN
totally fine.
And that's kind of what I wanted to ask Alf, like, who do you think is going to be able to play that KVN role, like to like spy Josh Allen? You think it's going to be Jalen Phillips?
No, I think Jerome Baker has almost no responsibilities today in the run game because I think they're just going to 1 and 2 gap it because all they do is run inside and outside zone. That's all they do.
They're simple.
So Atlanta Roberts could take care of the entire run game by himself, which means Jerome Baker has almost nothing to do except cover running backs out of the backfield. But I figured they're going to play a lot of DBs. They're going to play a lot of dime. So if they're going to play a lot of dime, then they're going to use a safety on Devin Singletary and Zach Moss, which means
like Brandon Jones or Javon.
Probably Javon. I think Javon has more experience. Although maybe Javon is in the slot a little bit even today because you want to have guys closer to the line of scrimmage so they could come off of their guys to make tackles when Josh Allen runs, right?
Yeah.
So the more I look at it, Jerome Baker's really going to have 2 things to do today: rush the passer or sit in the short zone.
I'd love to see him rush like crazy today because, in my opinion, listen, when Jerome Baker rushes the passer, I mean, it's fantastic. He finds that gap. He gets after the quarterback. I mean, we saw the 30-something yard sack on Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. Nobody does that. Jerome Baker did that. Yeah, I think him on Josh Allen's great. I just worry a little bit about the size there. A little bit about the size disadvantage that I think Jerome Baker would be at just because Josh Allen's so big. I still think he could do a good job.
Josh Allen does that to like DNs. Like it's not even a negative.
Like Jalen Phillips is a bigger body than Jerome Baker. So like if I've got one of the two to go 1-on-1 in a tackle situation, I'd rather have Phillips
for sure.
But I mean, I think Baker's got the speed that can keep up better too. So
yeah, I think if I'm the Dolphins, man, you got to try something new, right? So man, I play a lot of cloud coverages underneath and force Josh Allen to try to get shot plays against my corners. And then you got to trust your 2 most expensive players on the team to come through. So what's wrong with that?
You're gonna put Byron on Beasley, or what are you thinking?
I would put Byron Jones on Beasley in the slot on 3rd down. Now on 1st and 2nd down, you got to make do because Josh Allen likes to go outside the numbers. But I don't make Xavier travel at all.
Yeah, for sure. He's gonna pick a side, and we're gonna plant him there. But I was surprised Coleman only played 2 snaps, bro. Like I thought he was gonna really play a lot more. But Nick played good though.
I mean, Nick's locked
superstar,
it down.
A superstar.
Yeah, Nick's locked it down since camp. I mean, he's looked great, and so you gotta
remember last year what happened in that game. Dolphins took a lead in the 4th quarter, and Josh Allen threw a ball right at KVN. And KVN didn't intercept it. Yeah. If KVN intercepts it, they go up 10 with like 9 minutes left in the game.
Wasn't that that was on the Dolphin side of the field too? That was like within their. That was within.
It was at the 5-yard line. Josh, KVN would have caught it and walked into the end zone.
I hate KVN more now.
But remember what happened in that game? How did it turn after we took a lead in the 4th quarter? With shot plays. Yep. They hit a big play to Stephon Diggs, then they hit a monster play to John Brown, and that's what won them the game.
And there was a pass interference in one of those as well, I think, right? Against Byron, a whack pass interference call.
Well, no, Byron was out. Remember,
it
was against Xavier, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
He got called for PI against John Brown, I believe.
Yup.
So just I keep people underneath, and then I dare them to go deep on our corners, and just keep a single high safety.
Like, I mean, it is scary, though. I mean, we almost won that game. It was 31-28 last year, week 2. Josh Allen went 24 for 35 for 415 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, MVP performance if I've ever seen one. I doubt that happens today, though, because I will. Okay, I think this is going to play a big factor as well. Obviously, the heat always plays a factor down in South Florida, especially for a team coming down from the north. It is projected to rain, too. Right.
Yeah.
And I think if it comes down to a game of these two teams needing to run the
ball,
ball,
to be careful. Tua had a 5 interception practice in the rain. So, guys,
I mean, if it comes down to a game of whoever can run the ball best, I have to give the slight edge to Miami just because I saw them do it when it counted. Right, that last drive against the Patriots. Mm-hmm. And I'm not scared of Devin Singletary or Zach Moss or anything that the Bills can throw from a running perspective.
He's from the
crib, though. It is still close, though. It is still close because the Dolphins' running game has been great. I don't know what you think about the rain playing a factor, Alfredo.
Yeah, it's but it's what they're going to come out to do, right? Like, are they going to try to ball control it, try to keep the ball out of Josh Allen's hands? Maybe. Are they going to open up the offense and just try to score and try to put the pressure on Josh Allen and then let our defense play with a lead? I think that's our character, right? Like that's what we do. When you start changing the things that you normally do just because the opponent on the other sideline is different, then you're probably lost already. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think you want to go out and get a lead and play with the lead, because that's their character. That's what this team is. This team is a team that likes to put pressure with the lead and then have their defense play with the lead. I'm looking at the weather outside. It's absolutely beautiful. But if you look at your phone, it says from 2 to 5. 52% chance of rain.
So, I mean, it's Florida. We all know how
right
that
goes.
I was just about to say, like,
it's like in an instant, it'll be the darkest clouds.
Part-time meteorologists over here, like we know it's gonna rain in South Florida.
Right now, from on the Weather Channel in that area above Hard Rock Stadium, it says that there's going to be scattered thunderstorms from 3 to 4 p.m. right above the stadium. So
that's the fourth quarter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hopefully, we mentioned by then.
Wait, what's the rule on cancel on like postponing? Like, let's say, because I know they try to make it go as long as possible. I mean, I know because I was there, right, when we played the Titans a couple of years ago, and it was like postponed for about 6 hours. Gosh, that was the worst. I had to leave. I literally left. I had to go home. I had to drive all the way back to Orlando. I couldn't stay. But I mean, if it's past like the third quarter and they just can't play it, do they just call it a victory for whoever's in the lead, or do they try to come back and play the fourth quarter?
Nah, it's in the rule book. You got to complete the game.
Oh, jeez.
Get out.
You have to complete the game no matter what.
Even if it's the next day?
You should have like mercy rules or some shit.
Well, what they were planning on doing, if I remember correctly, because it's been a while, it was the Adam Gase era. Okay? What I remember that they were thinking about doing was finishing the game on Monday, the next day. Because the teams are there, right? So you just tell them, hey, man, go back to your hotel. See you tomorrow, man.
Oh, my goodness.
You know what I mean? That's what they were thinking about doing. It happened earlier before in NFL history. I remember there was a Chargers game. It wasn't a thunderstorm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it was, I believe it was an earthquake or something like that.
Oh, gosh.
And all they did was that they decided, you know what? We're going to play on Tuesday. And they ended up playing on Tuesday.
Mm.
Okay, so I remember this was like about 15 years ago or so.
Yeah.
There was the day of the game, like it was on a Sunday. There was like an earthquake in the morning. And then they said, you know what? There was some infrastructure damage around the stadium. We're not going to play.
Right.
And they said, you know what? We're going to play on Tuesday. They ended up playing on Tuesday.
I want to see the day the rain is so bad. They're just like, hey, you guys just want to go finish this up at the indoor facility? Just like have like one camera.
All they gotta do is cross the street. All they gotta do is just run across the street, right?
Not the worst.
Little trolleys.
And we mentioned Tua a little bit, and I want to ask you, Mike, first, since you are the one donning the Tua jersey right now. What are your expectations with Tua for this game? I know we talked about it a lot on the Extra Yard throughout the week, but obviously it's a topic of conversation. Someone mentioned earlier that there's always trade rumors coming up all the time with Tua now. But what are your expectations for him, like just this game? Do you think that this is kind of where he needs to show up and show out? Or do you think that if he kind of plays similar to, like, let's say some of the games he had last year where they were able to win, but he wasn't the reason, that it's okay? Like, what side do you land on there?
This game is going to be an interesting one. I think this game for me, I need to see him play well. I think that's an understatement. I don't know if I need to see him be the reason why we win, especially because I think there's just so much riding on the defensive side of the ball with how impossible it's been for us to, stop Josh Allen. I think those games are going to come later on in the season where I need to see Tua be the guy, right? I need to see him be why we win. Not we won in spite of him, or he managed the game to victory. I think today what I want to see, though, is I want to see good ball control, right? Ball security. Don't get rid of it, right? If you get sacked, don't fumble. If you're going to throw it away, throw it 10 yards, like 10 rows up the sideline, right? I understand he couldn't get to his back foot and it was unfortunate, but make sure what you're doing there, right? Don't try to extend the play too long, because I think in this game specifically, one turnover could cost us the game, right? If it's at a bad time, he throws that one pick, it could end up going south.
King.
I don't need to be the one that wins this game for us. I just need him to manage the game well and manage it appropriately.
Juan?
I had said on the Extra Yard, I said 350, but that was with my expectations of Will Fuller coming. Will Fuller was on the way. That's what I understood.
Oh, so Will Fuller is the reason why he goes from 350 to 220?
Nah, 260 I'm at 260. Yeah. And honestly, all I really want is just what you saw from the first drive in the Patriots game, and then the first drive coming out of halftime in the Patriots game. Like, you give me that 2, maybe 3 more times in a game, like, we're cooking, like, legitimately cooking, like 25 plus points a game. It's just getting to that level of consistency. Maybe it was, first game jitters. Maybe it was, play callers, first time really doing it together. Like, whatever it is, like, like, everybody has work to do. If you can get that down, you can do it a little more consistently. We got a good offense, regardless of if Will Fuller is here or not.
Alf?
You know what? I think if we're talking about Tua, I think it's been his MO when he looks across the sideline and he sees something that's maybe insurmountable for his team. He's going to play well. He's always played well. I saw a stat earlier today. I don't know what it was. It was either 5-0 or 4-0 against the spread as an underdog. And Tua has always been that guy. Whenever he's been up against it and they tell him, you know what, you don't have the best side of it here, he's going to ball. He's going to play well. I expect the same thing again. He was a top 5 pick for a reason. He was a top touted prospect for a reason, okay? You've seen it in spots. I think you see it again today. Today's one of those days where he's going to show up, and he's going to show up big.
I think if we get something close to what he did Arizona last year, right? That to me is always going to be the bar in terms of his play as a Dolphin, right? Because that was the peak of it.
He won that game.
He did.
I mean,
no,
obviously
absolutely.
Missed field goal, a weird short missed field goal.
He did everything.
He won that game.
He did everything he could in that game to win it, right? I do want to see him start doing that eventually. I'd love for that to happen now. And I think a lot of people take it as, oh, I don't think it's going to happen yet, as I'm not that big on Tua. I am. I think I just have more respect for the Bills than a lot of others do, where it's just like, to me, they are still the best in the division. It does still go through them, not just because they won it last year, but from a talent standpoint, I think they're the best. So that's why for me, listen, if he wants to go out there and ball out, throw 300 plus yards, 3 touchdowns, win the game, I'm all for it. I just have a hard time seeing it personally.
Even against Levi Wallace, even with all the talk earlier about Levi Wallace?
No, I think they can pick on Levi Wallace. I mean, if the rush gets there to him, you can't pick on Levi Wallace if you can't get the ball off.
True.
I'm going to be really interested in seeing that game plan, right? Like, that's what you want to see. What are they going to do on offense? What is going to be their approach? Are they going to be super aggressive, or they're just going to be ball control? I want to see what they're going to try to do on offense. We'll see. I guess we're going to see on the first drive.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. Do you think like those first scripted plays, you'll see what they're trying to do? I mean, those 2 scripted drives last week were the 2 scripted drives that they looked the best, at start of the game and then, coming out of half. You think we'll kind of get a feel for what the game's going to be with that first drive?
Yeah, I think Devin McCourty kind of said, what was the problem? He was on with Colin Cowherd. Yes, that guy this week. And they asked him, so what was, what happened on those 2 drives? And Devin McCourty said it was really the tempo. He said that the Dolphins were playing at a quicker tempo and they were having issues trying to get their substitutions and trying to get the right defenses in for those plays, and that they were completely off balance. So the rest of the game, they didn't play that much tempo. That's another thing. You can't play 60 minutes of tempo. You're going to kill your defense.
Exactly.
Right. You know what I mean? But it just so happens that when they went tempo, it worked. It works.
It always works though with Tua. Going back to last year, how many times have we said you put him in tempo, and for him it's like the quicker it goes, the quicker he processes. But
you remember the Bengals? You remember the Bengals game? The first half was super slow. They come out first drive, second half they go tempo, and it's just an easy
and
score.
It works. It's just like Al said, you can't live with that. Like
and the book on Tua is already out. Like, a lot of defense coordinators are talking amongst themselves, and they're saying, you know what? This is not a guy you blitz. This is the guy you put 8 guys, 7 guys into coverage. You try to get there with 4. You might send 5 every once in a while, but you don't blitz Tua, because if you speed up Tua gets better. Mm-hmm. So the quicker he processes, the better he is. The more he sits back there with time to process everything that's going on, the better, the worse he is. So
do we know who was calling plays, or how the division of play calling has been going?
I think
Belichick said Godsey, and another really smart guy on the 3 Yards Per Carry podcast said that it was Godsey. So it's Godsey.
Got it.
Because then wasn't there the whole Malcolm Perry snitched kind of thing because Belichick came out? Yeah,
he's on the way back. Don't worry. He's good.
You think so?
Nah, he's not leaving. He's not leaving Fox, bro.
He's never leaving.
He's a Navy guy. Like he's gonna like. I
He's
swear
never
to you,
leaving, Juan.
they're gonna make him Julian Edelman all over again. I swear.
Hey, I will say this: look, I'm not gonna feed a lot of conspiracy theories out there, but the Patriots seem to sniff out every single time that we wanted to get a shot play. Like they had the perfect defense for the perfect formation every single time we tried to set up a shot play.
Malcolm Perry was up in the booth. He's like, no, this is it. This is the motion. Send him back.
So
you think he even understood all of that?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. Well, you never know. You could, I'm just saying. So I guess as we get down to it and we get through everything, we get into our game expectations. Like, what do you expect to see? And then your score prediction. And we'll go back in reverse order, starting with you, Mike. What are your game expectations? And then what is your final score prediction?
I do expect a close game. I think that they'll make Josh Allen look as human as they have in a long time, right? I don't think he's going to go out there and absolutely torch us like he has the last few times he's played us.
So you think we're getting week 1 Josh Allen from last week?
Oh, well, that Josh Allen looked actively bad. I'm going to say human, right? So I'm kind of middle grounding it, right? Like, I think he might go out there, probably have about 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 45 rushing yards from Josh Allen, right? Where it looks like he didn't kill you, right? That's a good day. He didn't kill you. I think it's going to be a close game. I really do. I'm going to give the edge to the Bills, and I'm going to say 27. I'm going to say 27-24 Bills win the game.
Wow.
I'll be the only one to say it. That's just what I do.
I like how Juan's doing that. Juan said 1-4, bro.
I know, but I'm past that. Past that. I like what I'm seeing.
Juan is going the full positivity. I see the vision. Yeah,
I do. I for sure. I see the vision, dog. Like I see what they're trying to do. I see how they're trying to work it. Is it gonna work? That's gonna be the determining factor, and that's gonna be on more than anybody Tua. If Tua wants to make this work, if Tua wants to make this his team, and this is like to respond to every trade rumor we're gonna hear from here till the end of the season. Like Tua, if you want it, you want this team, you want the city, dog, you gotta earn it. You're gonna have to ball out, and if you do, the rumors will be put to rest. But if you don't and you leave it up to potentially somebody's interpretation, it's gonna bite you in the butt. I do expect this to be a close game, but I expect it to be opposite. I feel like we do have all the pieces necessary. They are young, they do lack experience, and they do lack that big game savvy from the pro aspect. But I do think that they're all going to be able to put it together, and I think I was going to go earlier in the week. I was going to go 31-23 Dolphins. With no Fuller, though, I'll probably see a different game plan. I'm probably going to go like 24-21 Dolphins.
24-21, all right. And then Alf, your expectations and score prediction.
Yeah, sorry, guys. I had to let the dog out. He wanted to scream at the neighbor's dog. But, yeah, I looked at there's some numbers that kind of bear fruit and are kind of important for this game. Week 2 division games for like since they've been doing this thing where they play a lot of division games on week 1 and week 2. Week 2 division games, have gone under like 76% of the time. So I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's a trend. I think teams that know each other, they're going to play themselves a little bit tighter to the vest. I think we might be in for something strange today. Like it could be a defensive battle and we don't expect it. But I want to go a little bit out of the box. And, having said that, I'm going to go like completely opposite. And I'm going to say that points get scored today. And Jason Sanders kicks a game-winning field goal, Dolphins 30, Buffalo Bills 27.
Ooh.
Very interesting because I'm in the same kind of line as you where I'm 31-28. Like I think that it's going to be the same score as last year's week 2 matchup. I just think that the Dolphins are going to come out on the better side of this thing. It is kind of seeing what the Bills were last week and just kind of thinking about, and it is week 1 overreaction. I do think that the Dolphins can come out and win this game. I don't think it's going to be by a huge margin if either team wins. I think it will be like a 3-point margin, but I think like a 31-28 Dolphins win can be very realistic.
Now I got a question for everybody. If they win, if the Dolphins win, Aren't the expectations on Monday a Super Bowl?
Like questions.
We're talking Super Bowl, like the song says.
Especially if
we're talking Super Bowl on Monday, right?
There's some.
Especially if Tua goes and balls out, there's no way that you can.
I think it depends. For me to say Super Bowl, it depends on the way it's won, right? If you're looking at
so here's the thing,
and
we'll
like 17-16 win like they did against the Patriots.
Well, the way I'm looking at it, it will be a 2-game lead in the division.
Sure.
They got a softer part of the schedules coming up, which means they got an inside track on the division. You win the division, you got home game. You got a home game in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
You don't play another division game until you play the Bills again in week 8 earlier on the season than you did last year.
I'm very happy that we're playing them week 8 as opposed to super late in the season because that was terrible.
Let's be real here, and let's go through it a little bit. I know we did it a little bit during the extra yard as well, but just kind of to look at that. I mean, you play the Raiders. The Raiders tried losing that game, and they weren't able to, right? I think we can all agree that. Like it seemed like a very Raiders game where they didn't want to win. I mean, you probably say that you give the Dolphins the edge on the Raiders. Am I wrong to say that, or will we all agree?
Mm-hmm.
Colts they looked weird, like in their first game. Who knows what they're going to kind of do today? But they were going in Seattle.
Yeah, Carson Wentz is a loser. Carson Wentz is a loser. So
yeah. So then you're expecting
what about that Colts loss?
We'll see. It's like it's literally how like Kai said. It's just it was just too uneven.
But doesn't Juan have us losing to Danny Dimes and Sam Darnold in back-to-back weeks?
Yes, he does.
I flip-flopped. I did not say Danny Dimes. I backed off of that on my last one. I for sure said Sam Darnold though. Sam Darnold.
No 100%. Integrity. No integrity.
Yeah. Anyway, so
I am keeping up to date with Sam Darnold.
We expect probably what you like. Let's say they lose to the Buccaneers. I feel like that's safe to say. Like
but what a juicy game though, right?
Yeah.
Battle of Florida, 2 undefeated teams. I think both will be undefeated.
And then look, let's be real.
Brady doesn't play great against us. We know this.
Like you're going into that Bills game 6-1 theoretically with this soft part of the schedule.
That is lofty, y'all. I don't.
It is fair to say that this team could if they win this game.
One trap game in there. I feel like that London one could be like a little trappish for me. Where you
against USC's very own Urban Meyer. Come on.
Well, that's the attitude where I'm like, it just seems a little too easy and like you know.
Wait, you're saying the
Jacksonville? But that's how it felt last year. Remember?
Game?
Or not last year, 2 years ago. It was last year when we played Jacksonville.
Yeah, let me say one thing. I watched the condensed versions of Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence this past week. Those two guys look dangerous to me. They look better to me than Mac Jones. They just didn't have better games than Mac Jones.
Zach Wilson had a lot of things going against him though as well because he had a lot of drops from some receivers. I will.
Well, he has a trash can team, you know.
But also with rookie quarterbacks, it usually take. I mean, it's usually about 3 to 4 weeks of watching them play till the book actually comes out on them.
Yeah, and Trevor Lawrence in that game of his, it was just like Yahoo. I'm throwing it all over the lot, and I don't give a crap where it goes. So against us, that's a problem. But if you could play under a little bit more control,
season 30-30.
Possibly.
I mean,
I will. Okay, if the Dolphins win this game, I agree with you. The expectations do take a jump. I think there's no way around that.
The thing is, it's not just the win, and I get you. It's like you want to see it convincingly, but for me, it's like what's convincing when I look at the division and I see the Dolphins 2-0, either the Jets 0-2 and the Bills 0-2, and then the Patriots being 1-1, which is what I'm kind of expecting it to be. But let's say the Jets actually beat the Patriots, like the Patriots are not 0-2, like that's a hell of an outlook for the rest of the season. Like, man,
I'm not saying it needs to be. I'm not saying they got to go in and blow them out, right? I'm not saying 41-14. Then I'll think Super Bowl. It's just I think Super Bowl. I mean,
you want to see more. You want to see more.
I need to see more than 2 weeks for me to really completely buy in. But I will.
But I think it's right to give that.
My expectation isn't just make the playoffs. It's win a playoff game, which none of us have seen in 20 some odd years,
in my opinion. Like it's or cart before the horse, whatever these.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Win a playoff game, and then I can start talking Super Bowl. Yeah. But I've literally never seen that. I think it's just Dolphins playoff games in my life. And both of them were embarrassing to watch.
Yeah, but let me say something. Tampa Bay had not won a playoff game in like 15 years before they won it all last year.
First team to win the Super Bowl in their home.
Brady. I'm gonna say that this Tom Brady.
Thomas.
A bit of
so Tom Brady brings over the experience.
I think Tom Brady brings a hell of a lot of winning culture. I'm not gonna underrate the GOAT.
I mean, I think it really is just off of the expectations where like we are Dolphins fans and we're so used to having low expectations for the team, even when we do have those high expectations and we're used to being let down. But I think that it can't be understated that how big of a game this is, even in week 2. Like you saw that the Bills looked pedestrian in week 1, and then you were able to, fight hard for a win in Foxborough. And now you have to strike. Yeah, you have to strike. Like it's only week 2, but it's an extremely important game because it is a soft part of your schedule. It's going into like you get a 2-0 division lead for everyone there. Like this game, whether it means Super Bowl or whatever, like it is a huge game only in week 2. Like it is a huge game because now you're going into it where you go against the Bills in week 8, your next division opponent, and you're sitting there. Let's say you 5-2 or whatever the record is, right? You're going into that and you're like, okay, not only did we beat the Bills at home, that we know we can beat the Bills now. Now we are going into there. We already have a good lead on the division. If we're able to squeak out another win and beat 2 against the Bills, you're holding tiebreakers. You're holding it is a huge game to be able to get this win.
Absolutely.
I mean, hey, I think we all want the win. We know that for sure. I mean, 3 out of the 4 of us think it will happen. I'm sorry to be the Juan of the group, but that's just
sorry, Mike.
What I thought.
I like that joke.
Oh, this comment. Sorry, but
I mean,
I think the Dolphins will have more wins than the Canes will have all season by week 9.
I think they'll have more wins than the Canes will have all season by week 3. Listen, I am an emotional fan, and the Canes, I'm done. Somebody send Manny to Temple, please. Send him to Temple. That's
man, bring in Mario Cristobal, man.
Bro, stop it. I would love that, but there's no shot he leaves Oregon. So
the rumor is that he wants to be down here. The problem is that this administration at the University of Miami is a piece of garbage, and they have no football ambition whatsoever.
Listen, you start they don't care.
They don't care. They don't care. Football, smootball, softball, basketball. They don't give a crap.
They're like academics. Sports. Academics don't matter, guys. I don't watch for your
academics. My balls. It's the University of Miami.
Oh, you gotta get a degree. Who cares?
The only people that actually give a shit about a degree from the University of Miami are lawyers and doctors. Yep. That's it.
Exactly.
Everybody else there
scientists,
bro. Fuck you, mean, bro.
Scientists as well.
What'd you say, Juan?
If you're not going for those 3 professions, you going to BC, and we out here, we lit. You ain't going to UM.
Oh, you're saying Broward College. I'm like, why are you talking about Boston College, homie? What the heck,
bro?
Nobody calls Broward College BC.
See, that's how you know you're in Orlando, bro. Like,
bro, I'm from Miami.
Down here,
the people that go to Miami-Dade, they go MDC. I went to MDC, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about,
bro,
man?
MDC
you just say Dade.
No. You say, bro.
You say Dade. Yeah, go to Dade.
I went to Dade for 2 years. It was the worst 2 years of my life.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, going to FIU was a dream compared to Dade.
It humbles you. It humbles you.
Oh,
yeah. You go to FIU or somewhere nice, and you're like, damn, like I came up.
It's like, whoa, dude, my academic advisor randomly left the school and didn't tell anyone, but now I have a real advisor? That's crazy.
Did you go to the Miami?
And, the Hurricanes, and think about it, they're so stupid, these people, that they don't realize that they got a Mario Cristobal. Yeah, he's going to be expensive. You know what he also does? He also pays for himself.
He wins.
Because if the team wins, it brings revenue to the school. Yeah. And revenue to the school means you get to pay for him and you get to put more money in your pocket.
And the ACC is so stinking bad. It's so bad.
Awful.
You could do anything.
It has one team and another team that's half a team, which is UNC. That's it. It's Clemson and UNC, and that's it. Everybody else is a piece of crap.
Yeah.
So, any final comments on today's game?
Now you got me pissed off. You got me pissed off going into this game. You know what? I think it's over for the University of Miami. I think we gotta stop it. We convince ourselves every single year. This is the year they play in the ACC championship game. This is the year that they come close to Clemson. Nah, it's never the year. It never will be the year.
Okay, but hold on.
Everybody who's watching this stream right now will die before the University of Miami wins anything ever again.
Damn.
Period.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. Wait.
That's the greatest. That's the greatest clip ever.
The Notre Dame game, that was the highlight of my Canes fandom.
Oh, wow, great. Yeah, that was great. I remember I even said, oh, they're back. They're back.
I thought they were back too. Even
I thought they were back also. But then what happened the following fucking week? They lost to Pittsburgh. Remember? Yeah.
All right. So with the
Gators
Dolphins,
what?
With the Dolphins, do we have any final comments as we get ready to wrap up here?
Win. It's time. You've been building this team for 3 years. You spent a pile of first-round picks, a pile of free agency money. You're at home. Crowd's with you. You're relatively healthy. It's time.
Put Jalen Phillips to eat. Let that boy loose.
Let somebody eat. Make the game plan work. And offensively for me,
double moves.
Look consistent. Just look consistent. I don't need you to run the up tempo all the time. I just can't watch 2 good drives and no good drives the rest of the game. Right. And it can't be a different person every time messing up. Right. It can't be Jalen Waddle dropped the 3rd down pass. Tua made a bad read. The offensive lineman tripped and that ended the drive. Find some cohesiveness. Find for a way to all work together. Have good drives more than just once or twice in the game. You win this game, no doubt.
Austin Jackson is back.
Make sure you guys check out for the post-game show today. Once the game is all said and done, you can go on. I believe that'll be Louis Sung and Hassan Patel that'll be there. I don't know who else will be on, but I know that those will definitely be on there. You can check the post-game show. Whether you're pissed off or happy, make sure you tune into that. This has been the YardPrep pregame show with myself, Michael, Alf, and Juan.
What the smash?
Make sure to smash the like button. As well as Juanye West always says. I lost the comment, but I was going to put it up there a little bit ago. Make sure that you smash the like button. Make sure that you are tuning in for every yard prep. And, of course, with Thrive Fantasy, you can go click that link down below in the description. Also, again, post-game show, the extra yard Tuesdays and Thursdays. You also have 3 yards per carry. Tune into everything here from 5 Reasons Sports. Get the best Dolphins coverage you can. We'll see you guys later.